Up? Hey everyone, it's Joe Bladek for another episode of Canadian Mortgage Weekly for November the 17th at 11:30 a.m. This is episode 108. Really pumped to be here today to talk about house prices and that they have been increasing. I cannot believe it. I know a lot of my clients have been looking forward to seeing the prices come down, and they certainly have. They've been coming down since February of 2022. We did have that peak at February 2022 when house prices did peak, and then they've been going down steadily since then. Now, what I've really been interested in is how much further are they going to go down? When are they going to turn around? And when is that trend going to turn around? So, why do I do that? Well, simply because I have a lot of investor clients that want to get into the market, and they want to make sure that when they get into the market that they're going to get into the market at the bottom, so they can make the biggest profit. I also have a lot of first-time home buyers. They want to get into the market at the most affordable point, and they want to make sure they're not overpaying for a home. Now, it has been tough because homes have gone up in payments with the interest rates going up. However, there's some interesting data coming out right now from the Canadian Real Estate Association with the average national house price. So why is this information going to be useful to you? Well, if you're looking for the bottom of the market, you want to stay tuned to some of the data I'm going to share with you shortly here, because if you're looking for that bottom of the market, you're going to want to make sure that you know when that bottom of the market is. And my plan and my goal here today is to share with you exactly how far down we've come and how far up we've come since all the data has come in. So, a lot of my clients, though, they're still saying, Joe, we're thinking that the bottom of the market's not here yet. We think prices are going to continue to go down. I have a lot of real estate agents that are professionals in this industry that have been in this industry for quite some time. And they're also telling me, hey, Joe, we think prices are going to keep going down as well. Now, there's also the other real estate agents that I speak to that think prices are going to go up as well. But, it's interesting because we get two different sounding boards from the same profession. So clients are thinking that the bottom is, some of them are thinking the bottom is here, especially investors, but a lot of first-time buyers and second-time buyers don't think the bottom is here. So how is this going to impact you financially? If you are able to time the bottom of the market, you will be able to buy the house that you want for the lowest possible price, as well as being able to put down the lowest possible down payment and get the lowest possible mortgage balance. Not necessarily the lowest mortgage rate, because mortgage rates are a lot higher than they were last year this time. So you will have to pay a higher monthly payment, but have a lower overall mortgage balance. So that's going to be the financial impact. How can you use this episode to benefit you? Well, take the data that I'm going to share with you today. I mean, I'm a mortgage broker. I serve mortgages across Ontario. Take the data that you're going to see today and use it to help you make your home purchase. Use it to help you make your financial ownership goals come true. Really just try to make this information part of all the information you're gathering from all your professionals, either your mortgage broker, which is me, your real estate local professional, and all those professionals like an appraiser in that area will be working with you on your home. So what's going to happen in the future? Well, this episode is going to help you, just guide you to what's been happening in the housing market right now. As far as what's going to happen in the future, I don't think this episode is really going to give you an idea what's happening in the future, but it is going to give you some guidance as to what could happen in the future and what's been impacting the data up to now. And if you're definitely looking at getting into the housing market right now, or moving up or moving down in the housing market, you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to this data here, because we have some really good data talking about house prices. So what's been happening with house prices? Well, in February of 2022, we saw the national average house price peak. It peaked very high. And in Canada, that was the highest we've ever seen the average national house price hit. So really cool to see how much real estate has grown in Canada. In February, the national average house price in Canada was $816,720. Wow. That's a massive house price. And today, obviously, house prices have dropped considerably since then. So much so, actually, as of July of 2022, house prices had dropped 23.8% in Canada. And that is very interesting. And at around that time, TD Canada Trust had come out with an article predicting house prices and that they're going to drop between 20 to 25% by 2023. And I had looked at that article and I looked at the data already and I was like, house prices have already dropped within that range. Perhaps we're going to go up from here. And I did a video about this, and you can actually go watch that on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. And you can watch that video I did about that article saying exactly that. Now, in August, we saw a total turnaround. We saw the house price national average actually no longer go down, but actually increase by 1.5%. So between July and August, the national average Canadian house price did increase, not very much, but only 1.5%. Mind you, if you live in a specific area, you're going to want to talk to your real estate agent to check and see exactly what your local market is doing. But very fascinating that in Canada, the national average house price did go up in August, and that actually started a really interesting trend that I'm about to share with you today, because as I said, house prices have come down quite considerably since February of 2022, 23.8% from February to July 2022. But let's look at this next data here. In September of 2022, what did we see? We actually saw the national average house price increase again. I mean, it wasn't a very big increase, but 0.34%. We saw another increase in September. So that was 2 months of increases, once in August and once in September. How crazy is that? And still, my clients were saying, we haven't seen the bottom yet, Joe. I think things are going to keep going down, Joe. I think the houses are going to get cheaper, Joe. Well, the data has been pointing in the opposite direction. And it's really interesting because I think that a lot, I mean, I don't know what you guys think is impacting the national average house price, but I'm seeing a lot of immigrants get into the housing market right now. A lot of people that have been new to Canada in the last 1 to 2 years. I mean, Canada has brought in about 500,000 people this year alone into Canada, and immigration, folks that are immigrating to Canada, they have money and they come with a very high desire of ownership. So they do whatever they can. They all get jobs. The whole family goes on title. You have 3-4 people contributing to the mortgage. So you have about a $200,000 family income. They can easily afford a national average house priced home in Canada. So, I mean, what does that got to say? Well, that demand is still there. So I can't deny that. I know I would like to see house prices come down a little further so I could see my first-time home buyers get in the market. But let's look at what happened in October. Well, in October, the national average house price went up yet again. Very crazy how that happened, and I cannot even believe it. I mean, what are we going to do with the national average house price going up now 3 months in a row? I cannot believe how far the national average house price has gone up in 3 months now. It's gone up 1%, 1.5% in October of 2022. Really crazy to see that. Let's actually move to the graph here. I want to show you all. There we go. That's the graph. Just sharing it with you here today because, as you can see, we did see that upswing from the beginning of COVID of 2020. House prices did go up considerably. And then we saw this sharp decline. This is February 2022 up here. And then we saw the decline to July of 2022 here. And since then, we've had a increase of 3 months of real estate prices since then. I mean, it's a very modest increase. We had 0.34% in, so 1.5% in August, 0.34% in September, and another 0.65% in October. And that's this red line here. So what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think this is going to continue going? Because this trend line is following. As you can see, the red trend line, we can see it's following all the way from 2005. We can follow this trend, and it's going this way, as you can see. I mean, this was the anomaly here, as we can take a look here at this anomaly from COVID. But it's really come down since then, and the trend is continuing. And this is with these higher interest rates. This is with these higher interest rates. Let me put those up on the screen here so you guys can see the interest rates here. Let me put those up on the screen. Let me go back to the slideshow here. Okay. So let me put those rates on the screen here below. You're going to see those mortgage rates pop in there. These are as of November 17th, 2022. And yeah, rates are still at all-time highs. So it's really interesting to see that the house price in Canada has been going up 3 months in a row. I would love to hear, what do you guys think? Have we hit the bottom? Have we hit the bottom today? And are we going back up now? I actually had a couple really elite investors get in around July. They bought houses at that time. They know that their mortgage rate is going to be high right now, but at the same time, they know that when they are taking these mortgage rates, they know that perhaps rates will come down in the future, and perhaps the house prices will be higher in the future. So they're planning in advance to get in now and reap the lower rates in the future, which is really going to help them get further down the road if they are a property investor. So these investors got in July. They got in at the right time, the very bottom of the market in the last year. So yeah, what do you guys think is going to happen next month? Do you think we're going to have another increase in prices in November? Do you think we're going to see November another price increase? I know that, I don't want to be one of those mortgage agents, mortgage brokers, realtors that say it's always a good time to buy, it's always a good time to sell. None of that here. But look at the facts here. The numbers have been showing us that the real estate prices have gone up 3 months in a row. It's really going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. So that's the national average house price, $644,643 as of October 2022, an increase of 6.5%. So really cool to see that. Let's keep looking here at some of the other data I have that I wanted to share with you today. That would be the 5-year Canadian bond yield. The 5-year Canadian bond yield has also been remaining steady. Actually, it's been remaining steady since the September 2022 rate hike. We did see an increase from 3.3 to about 3.6, 3.7, but it kept bouncing back down to 3.3. They go up again to 3.7 recently, and then bounce back down to 3.3. So what does that mean for Canadian fixed rates? Well, Canadian fixed rates actually have not been budging. They've not been budging. They haven't budged since about September. They've been remaining the same. So if you think fixed rates are going to go up, that means it's a great time to get pre-approved, lock in that rate. You never have any obligation to take that mortgage, but the bank has an obligation to you to keep that rate fixed and locked in case you find something. So really interesting to see that. If you think rates are going to go up even further, as you see here, this was September. We see it at the 3.3 range. It did pop up here to 3.75. Did pop down to 3.3, back up to 3.7, back down to 3.3. Could that have been the peak of interest rates? Is that peak interest rate, which was, I guess, October would have been peak interest rate for the 5-year fixed. We did see 5-year fixed rates for some national Canadian banks, the Reds, the Greens, approach the high fives. Since then, they have come down. So really good time to get pre-approved and lock in an interest rate going forward. So anyway, looking at the next data here, we also have the Canadian inflation rate. Now, we did have numbers come in for October. October 2022 inflation has remained the same at 6.9%, which remains unchanged from September 2022, which is actually pretty good news because these numbers that Canada reports here, source credit tradingeconomics.com, these numbers that Canada reports are inflation rates from October 2021 versus October 2022. So October 2021 has increased 6.9% since October 2021, which remains unchanged from September 2021 to September 2022. We did see that peak of inflation of 8.1%. What does that mean if inflation's still high? Well, we're seeing that things still cost a lot of money. We have not seen a decrease in inflation yet, which means that those price increases will stick around for the time being. It'll be great to see the price increases go down so we can see less of a price increase, but that's where we're at today. All right, what else we have? We have the American inflation rate. That's at 7.7%. So it did go down quite considerably from the peak of 9.1% in June of 2022. That is really refreshing. Canada does follow the United States quite considerably. So with an inflation rate of 7.7%, that's really good news for the American economy. We're seeing that inflation come right back down. All right, now the CDOR rate. This really helps me and my clients decide whether or not variable rates are a good thing to go into. And, down here, variable was a very good choice. We did see the variance to prime over 2%. Then the CDOR rate started to climb quite considerably. We did hit that high point here beginning of October. Again, was that peak interest rate? I'm not sure. So far, the graphs are telling us that. And then we have this blip down and then sort of a sideways thing here. So the CDOR rate actually has stayed the same since last week. That is quite a interesting anomaly because usually it does go, it has been going up every month. So we'll see what happens. Bank of Canada rate announcement. The next one's on December the 7th. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think rates are going to go up in December the 7th? Well, I think if they do go up, it's going to be a less increase than we've seen. We saw a 100 basis point increase in July, 75 basis point increase in September, and a 50 basis point increase in October. So if I do see an increase this month, I'm going to guess it's going to be a 0.25% increase. Let me know in the comments below what do you guys think the increase will be. Is it going to be 0.25%? Could it be more? What do you guys think is going to happen to Canadian interest rates? Now, remember, the Bank of Canada interest rate announcement only affects the variable rates and HELOC rates. It does not affect fixed rates directly, so we won't really see a change in fixed rates if this changes. Usually it's a lagging change in terms of how the market responds is how the fixed rates go. So, yeah, December the 7th, we'll be doing a live pre-rate show here on Canadian Mortgage Weekly Live, along with a live rate announcement right here at 10 o'clock on December the 7th. So join me for that. Again, average national house price, we went over this earlier on in the episode. We did see an increase of 0.65% in October. So that's 3 months of increases, which is pretty fantastic. So again, what do you guys think is going to happen going forward with rates? Are rates going to continue to increase? Do you think rates are going to start going back down? Also, as house prices change, do you think house prices are going to continue to go back down or continue to go back up? We're at that point right now where we have that inflection. We have that big decrease in house prices from February to now. Now we've seen 3 months of very modest growth in house prices. So yeah, very interested to see what your guys' thoughts are. Give me a call, 705-238-3479. That's my phone number. You can reach me there. You can text me there. You can find me at email joe@joebladek.com. You can also find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at @BMortgageFree, where we post videos every week for Canadian Mortgage Weekly. We also post on TikTok. So follow Canadian Mortgage Weekly on TikTok. We release about 8 to 9 videos each week on TikTok, and looking forward to seeing you there. We've actually we're celebrating 3,000 views on TikTok this week. So on all of mortgage videos, so 3,000 views. I want to thank all our supporters on TikTok, and really looking forward to continuing to bring you all this refreshing information here. Again, it's Joe Bladek on Canadian Mortgage Weekly, Canada's only video Mortgage Weekly news podcast. And yes, looking forward to seeing you next week. Next week will be November 24th. Looking forward to showing you guys some awesome data and news then. It's going to be a pretty good episode. I'm celebrating something very personal next week, so we'll share that celebration with you next week. In the meantime, hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. And if you have any comments or would like to book an appointment with me, go into the comments below. I'll have a link to my appointment calendar as well in the video description, and we'll see you